Hi, this is Alan Bach, and I'm with Bobby Mote, and I just want to thank Bobby for being here with us. He's a world champion bareback rider from 2002, and really appreciate him coming out and sharing his life story with us.
This is Bobby Mote. Bobby Mote on Alley Trail, the Kessler Championship Rodeo Company. Go on, Bobby, go! Spur Bobby. We're going to get Mote to his average tonight. That's all it's going to take. Got caught at 82 last night, but I got him a check. One place out. Now Oregon. Here's where you're going to have to make your move in the second round. Kessler's giving him the chance. 84 points. You watch his horse. They brought him a long ways at Old Buck. Heel Buck. Yes! Oh, Mr. Johnson. You ought to be happy. Bobby.
Made it look like a walk in the park. Double handful of bareback rigging. Ladies and gentlemen, 2002, he left the Thomas and Mike #1 in the world. What do you say you welcome him home to Las Vegas?
We need a new leader. 87.5. He's used to winning 200,000. Do it. Do it. Look at this. Do it. Ha 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 ha. Oh, love it. That's a bucking horse rider. Utah bucking horse.
Gotta like it. And the man comes in tonight, splitting the lead for the average. Bobby Mote, our reigning champion of the world, joining us out here.
All right. Yeah. My U.S. Smokeless Tobacco says 88.5.
I started out when I was a little kid. I grew up riding horses, rode cutting horses, and showed horses when I was a little kid. Grew up started junior rodeo whenever I was about 15. Some friends of mine from high school, we all listened to Chris Ledoux songs, and they talked about riding bareback horses, and it really sounded like a neat thing to do to me. So I started going and getting on practice horses and started riding barebacks, and kind of went up through the ranks, went to the amateur rodeos. As soon as I turned 18, I bought my permit and started going to pro rodeos. Didn't have really any success at all, but kept entering. I knew the best guys were there, and so I wanted to be around the best guys and you know, if anything, learn something from them. Every time I went to a rodeo, I was surrounded by all the best guys going. So it was a really neat opportunity for me. I rodeoed along, went to the circuit rodeos and stuff for a couple years, and then kind of came to the realization that the guys that I was traveling with, the guys that I was around, weren't necessarily winners. You know, they may have had all the talent or the abilities to be successful, but they weren't doing the right things with it. They weren't taking advantage of the opportunities that were before them. And so I kind of took a pretty bold step, it seemed like at the time. I called the best guy going at the time, and still, in my opinion, probably the best was Clint Corey. And I just called him out of the blue. I'd been to one of his rodeo schools. I called Clint and asked if I could start entering with him. And, you know, it turns out it was probably the best move I ever made in rodeo. As far as that goes, he said, yeah. He said, shoot, great. And, you know, you know, looking at it now, I could see, you know, it was an awful good thing for him to do for me, because, you know, he really had nothing to gain from it other than maybe somebody to help drive, and I wasn't a very good driver. But I started going with them and started doing good, you know. So I was around winners, I was around good guys, and slowly but surely things started coming around, and I tried to mimic him in every way that I could, as far as, you know, his attitude and his approach and the way he rode, and things started turning around. And then I started realizing, you know, hey, I got a chance at this. You know, I could really go somewhere. So I started winning, started doing good. 2000, I came really close to making the finals. Just had an incredible summer and fall, and won a tour finale, which at that time didn't count for the world standings, or I would have made it in 2000. And then I got kind of off on a off on my own deal. I got to thinking that it was all me. And 2001, I was determined I was going to make the finals, and I did. Even like in midway through the summer, I actually broke a vertebrae in my back, and I set out for like 18 days and was determined that I was going to, not let anything stop me. It didn't matter what it was. And on the 18th day after I broke a vertebrae in my back, I went up and won around at Calgary. And, I'm just, every time I'd have success, I just kept getting a bigger head and got to thinking I was just, shoot, I'm unstoppable. And ended up going to the finals like third. Lan Longines and Kelly Wardell were ahead of me, and just had a tremendous finals. Won the first go round. First time I nodded my head, won a round. Won, I think, 2 or 3 more go rounds that year. Come down to the ninth. After the 9th round, I was winning the average and I was winning the world, and Lan was right behind me. And all I had to do was just pretty much just make the whistle on my 10th horse, and I'd win the world, which is a pretty incredible deal. Come from nowhere, just have a great year, win the world the first year you go to the finals, win the average. I mean, it happens, but not very often. Well, I was pretty set on myself and winning, and that was really the only thing that mattered to me. So I had a really good horse in the 10th round, and I just had win all year and all the time during the finals with the pedal to the floor, just going as fast as I could, hard as I could, and it finally came back to bite me. In the 10th round, I spurred over a horse's neck and bucked off to win the world, and I was so mad, just furious, and instead of being happy that I had gotten that far, I was just beside myself, just mad and disappointed. And in the meantime, that whole year I had run off. I'd run off my best friends, my traveling partners, Jason Havens and Clint Corey. They didn't even want to be in the same rig with me. I was just turned into a monster. I was just so set on winning and doing my own thing and my own priorities. I had put everything aside, that didn't have anything to do with me winning. That was the most important thing to me, and it seemed like that was it. And at the time, and for the next couple months after the 10th round in 2001, I'm thinking, just still thinking about myself, thinking about how, if I'd have just tried a little harder or just done this or done that, I could have had it, and like it's a life or death deal. Well, the funny thing about rodeo is as soon as the 10th round of the finals is over and they give everyone their buckles in the arena, they're taking down the arena right behind you, and everyone's tied with $0 won. All of a sudden, I mean, it lasts and it's done, and then the next season starts. And it's not like it's a life-changing event or it's just the greatest thing in the whole world, or after that point, everything's roses, but in my mind it was. And, I just totally missed the picture. So I'm thinking that because that I had all this success because I tried so hard and because I was so determined. And in hindsight, looking back, it's the best thing that happened to me that I didn't win it, because I would have went on thinking that it was all me, which it wasn't. It was I think it was the Lord giving me a glimpse of what I could be, and then bring me back to reality to show me that hey, you're still just flesh and blood, and you can't do it all on your own, and you can't get by treating people the way that you've been treating them. So 2002, I rodeoed most of the year by myself because nobody else wanted to travel with me, and I had just all the time driving by myself and flying by myself and kind of doing my own deal was great for me, because I got the chance to realize that I had run off everybody that ever tried to help me, and just totally got my priorities as mixed up as I could have them. And so I kept calling Clint and Jason and wanting to get in with them and rodeo with them, and they were rodeoing with other guys, and they really didn't want, basically they didn't want me to, and I really can't blame them. So finally, the way things ended up, I got to catch a ride home from an airport somewhere with them, and they really had no choice but to let me ride with them. So I got in the rig, and I had some things I'd been wanting to get off my chest for a long time, and I just told them how I'd realized how fouled up I'd been and how I'd treated them wrong, and had my priorities mixed up, and it was hard to do. It was really hard to do, but they were great about it. They realized where I was coming from, and they gave me another chance. And now, I'm back to, I travel with Jason, and Clinton had since retired, but I still talk to him on the phone all the time, and it was just it's probably one of the best lessons that I've learned so far in rodeo. It's not, you can have success for a short period of time by yourself, but it's not real success. I mean, what you win, what buckles they give you, or what titles they give you, or what checks they write you, is just all, it's